Hi guys, welcome back to Thornton 100 Motorcycles YouTube channel. My name's Jody and we've got something a little bit different for you today. We've got a lineup here that Triumph have just dropped off of new toys from their modern classic range. So we have a couple of models here that we're going to go through and show you guys what's new and also tell you guys about what we think we are going to be modifying on them and also what we might be doing in the future with a couple of bikes, such as this beast here, which is the new 2021 Triumph Street Twin. Now, this bike is an A2 compliant bike and there's a few little bits on it that make it new for 2021. So we've got new covers here. This stripped back, lightweight look is super popular. You guys absolutely love these bikes. I love these bikes as well because they have a 900 engine and it's super smooth with that cush drive. These things just poot along. They're really nice and easy to get on with, and something that Thornton 100 has never really dealt with, but we might be looking to change that as we want to bring in a slightly lower or a cheaper price point bike so you guys can get your hands on some Thornton 100 goodies. And we're also going to be looking at what we can do to modify these, what we can chop off, what we can change, what we can engineer to make these bikes sick and make them accessible for you guys as well with the Thornton 100 bits on too. So great little bike. We'll go into a little bit more detail on this one over here, but next to it, we have a Triumph T120 Black Edition. Now, if you've seen my Joe Wicks T120 video, we'll put the link in the description below, then you'll know just exactly what I can do with a T120 when I'm left to my own devices and a big, nice budget to work with. So, this is the Black Edition, new for 2021. We have Brembo calipers, we have a lighter flywheel, Euro 5 compliant as well, so we're not melting the ice caps and killing all the polar bears, because we love the nature here, we love polar bears here. So we also have cruise control as standard. This sick paint job actually, I really quite like this. So, you know, sometimes a lot of bikes leave a lot to be desired in the paint department, but I think Triumph's new kind of blacked out kind of feel about them is making them just pretty sick, you know. It's pretty accessible for people. And these bikes are super high spec too. Now, some of you manufacturers out there, I'm not naming any names, but you are putting some diabolical components on your bike. Now these Triumphs, they're not messing about. This is the best stuff that you can get. Honestly, I would hop on one of these right now and ride it around the world and have no worries about whether it will make it or not. So absolutely love the styling on these bikes. They're great as standard and they're a lot more practical than my bikes. When we went to Scotland and we did a tour last year, the standard bikes were actually a lot more comfortable to get on with. Sometimes when you modify a bike too much, you know, and you're not just using it for Sundays, then you're doing silly miles on it, then, you know, it can be a bit uncomfortable. These things, absolutely great, big miles, or you can just hop on them on a Sunday. They look great, and you can jump on, press the button and go every single time. No issues, no oil leaks, none of that. Oh, Triumphs seem to leak, blah, blah, blah. Those days are gone. These things are sick. And you guys have seen what I can do with these bikes as well, seeing as I've boosted mine to 202 horsepower at the rear wheel with standard internals pretty much. So absolutely insane and testament to what Triumph is actually engineering here at Hinckley, which is just up the road from us. They're making super high quality bikes. Now this one is their new Triumph Street Twin Gold Edition, which is like a kind of like a first edition that we're doing for the new Street Twin. And they're doing 1,000 of these. Now, there is only 6 gold liners in the world. Most of them were trained by Gary Devine at the factory, who I've met, who's a lovely bloke and who's very talented. Now, I'll get Stevie to do some B-roll on this that he's done here, but this is probably done by Gary himself. If we pop the seat off, actually, we'll be able to see if he's got his signature down there as well, because each one that is gold lined has a signature on the back under there too. So, as I was saying, these bikes, A2 compliant, so they're really easy to jump on and sort of ride and just get going really. So, you know, and I think with Thornton 100, like I say, we want to be bringing in that sort of lower tier of model that you guys can kind of get your teeth stuck into as well. So you're not spending £30,000 to get into a bike. We could potentially sell some accessories and some cool little bits for these bikes to get you in and buying into Thornton 100 as a brand and joining the team. And then once you've done that, you can get invited to all of our special events that we're going to be doing this year. So there's going to be more information on that on our social media too. And yeah, I think we'll be doing some bits with these in the future. Now, the bit you've all been waiting for, the new bobber. So this bike is the one that I introduced at the factory when you saw me there in the studio, all nervous, sweating bullets because there's like 30 people around me and loads of cameras everywhere. But as you guys know, Bobber, favorite bike, my favorite bike of all time. This bike is so versatile. Honestly, this bike, again, you could hop on it, go down to Ace Cafe at the weekend, do your bits and bobs, but also realistically, you could hop on this and ride it around the world. I see no reason why you could not. Because again, your reliability is there, the spec of the components is there. Now, you've got a larger fuel tank as well. So, you're not going to be running out of fuel. If my memory serves correct, I think it's 2 or 3 litres larger. We did used to fit this on some of our other bikes, which was actually a Speedmaster tank, but now they come as standard. So that's really handy. Not good for me because I used to sell it as an optional extra. Now it's standard. Come on, Triumph. You're gonna start offering wide wheel kits as standard from now on. Hopefully not. But this bike is fitted with factory optional extra. I love this. This is like the heel shift. Love that. So you'd be toes, heels, footboards. Each to their own, you know. Some interesting options on these bikes, but there is silly options for these bikes, like the high-rise bars, which is not an easy thing to do as well, because you've got to change the clutch cable, the brake hose, and all the other bits get extended too. So, you know, there's lots of little bits that you can do to these bikes to make them your own. You don't have to go and spend silly money with us to actually customize them and make them cool. So, apart from the large tank, again, we are Euro 5 compliant. We have a lighter flywheel, so a little bit more peppy. It'd be interesting to see if we pull one of these apart to see if our supercharger will fit, because I have a sneaky feeling that that flywheel, if it is a different shape, then we're gonna have to re-engineer our supercharger kit, which will be an interesting video anyway. But yeah, so we also have a new style speedo. I actually like this a lot more. Got some really nice details in here actually. And I think off the top of my head, that's pretty much it. Triumph would love me to have a little spec sheet here reading off everything. We're not at Triumph, we're at Thornton 100. So, because we're at Thornton 100, I think we should really talk about what we're going to be doing with these bikes. So, this bike is essentially going to get, well, not this one exactly, but when we get our own one in around 3 weeks' time, we're going to remove all of the wheel, all of the mud guards, the seats going, the seat mount, the tank will be staying now, which, praise the Lord, because I don't have to get big tanks in now and wait for them and fill in the size, an absolute nightmare. So all of this front end will be going. So if you want to see how our bikes are built, and you can watch us build one in a day too, you can watch it in our Dawn to Dusk video, which we'll put a link in the description below. This description is just going to be full of links, isn't it? It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so we are going to make these bikes sick. And again, we're coming out with more and more accessories that we're going to make available to you guys as we go along too. So, with that said, let's move on from the bobber there and let's talk about the T120 back here. So, I think with the Thornton 100, you know, we get stuck into the bobbers. People want the bobbers more than anything, you know, they want them so much. And I think they're a really good base. Like I say, we do so much with our bikes, and I'll get Stevie to do some sick B-roll right about now, show you some of the cool stuff that we're doing. But we probably can be accused of sticking to one model. But I know now that that bobber is engineered with our V4 wide wheel kit, absolutely as good as it can be. Now, what I would like to start doing is branching out a little bit, doing more T120 stuff and bringing those parts to you guys, bringing them onto our web shop, link below, description, check it out. And getting you guys rolling around in some Thornton 100 bits. I think we've been very exclusive and very secret and private about everything that we're doing here. And I think now it's time for us to really sort of branch out and bring everything to you, get you bits through our web shop. But with the T120, they receive our wide wheel kits really well. So we go front 5 inches wide at the back, 5 inches wide at the front, wide clamps, different headlight. We'll probably put a bobber black headlight on it, something like that. One of these bobber headlights actually, because the black's the old model. Now it's just the bobber. And also, we will chop the subframe off. We might come out with a little subframe loop kit, something like that, build a really nice little thing into it. What we're really trying to do here as well is make all of our bikes MOT compliant and homologation compliant too, if you're from Europe. It really does help me sleep better at night, knowing that any parts that go out, you guys aren't going to be ringing up going, oh, my MOT tester hates me. He's not going to MOT my bike. So anything that you buy from Thornton 100 is going to be homologated or MOT compliant, which is really cool. So these bikes, sick. Definitely going to be doing more bits with these too. Now, the Street Twin, like I said, we're going to be offering more and more parts for these. Now, we're probably going to buy one in very soon, pull it apart, see what we can do. We might even make our own CNC wheels, which I think will be an interesting little task to do. Never done anything like that before. But I'm sure between me and Alex, we can come up with some good designs. And again, what we'll probably have is our number plate mount that wraps around the back here. We'll tidy all of that up. We might even try and make it a bolt-on kit and make it really, really lovely and really sexy as well. And offer it at a decent price point as well, because I think, obviously with all the Thornton 100 stuff, it's super expensive, and it's expensive for a reason. It's machined in the UK. You know, we're using the best materials. Everything is fit and forget parts. Now, you're not gonna have issues with it getting wet. You're not gonna have any issues with wiring. You know, you're not gonna have any issues with corrosion. These parts are the very, very best parts that you can buy for your Triumphs. Now, I'm really excited to start offering some of these bits from the Street Twin too. So it'll probably be like things like the gear shifter, the foot pegs, the passenger things, and then we'll come up with a nice little subframe seat loop like that too. So those are the bikes that they've dropped off. I'm really, really keen to start pulling some bits off these bikes now, having a bit of a measure up as well. We're working with Jekyll & Hyde and we're developing a really cool exhaust for the bobber right here. Now, I know those boys are gonna want me to have a little sneak peek at this exhaust and see what we can come up and develop with that. And we very much might offer that to you guys as well in the public if we develop a really cool Thornton 100 exhaust. And also along with the other parts we're going to be developing for these bikes, there's going to be so much available on our web shop. So make sure you do check out our web shop as well. We're also doing lots of merch. So there's going to be loads of sick stuff. Stevie behind the camera is designing loads of new stuff for you guys. Some really cool earthy colors as well. And some proper fashion stuff. So I'm not that into it, into all the fashion, but this stuff that he's creating is so sick. So I'm excited for you guys to get your hands on that too. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, definitely subscribe, because at 100,000 subscribers, we're gonna have the sickest giveaway. We're gonna start doing some really cool stuff as well. As our following grows, we're gonna have some really cool giveaways and competitions that you guys can get involved in. Get your hands on some Thornton 100 gear and some Thornton 100 merch too. So I hope you like the bikes. Thank you so much to Triumph from Hinckley for lining these up for us. Also allowing us to have a bit of a sniff around them and measure up some bits and start engineering parts so you guys can get your hands on them earlier. So thanks for watching again, guys, and we'll see you next week.